we had some really, really good leaders. We had some phenomenal football players on those teams. Tommy Nalen, Matt Lepsis, John Lynch, Al Wilson. We had some guys, and they believed in me. That I was their guy. They loved how I approached the game. They loved how I played. Even if I made a mistake or threw a pick, they still were like, I got you. And that's what I see this team. They got Bo. They got his back. And I think that's a sign of a well-coached team and a team that's spending good time together. When we don't get to see, those times in the locker room and the weight room and after practice, I think this is a very close-knit team. And when you're close and you love each other and you care about each other, then you start believing that, man, every game is winnable.
Hello, and thank you for joining us here on Broncos and Bourbon. I'm your host, Phil Milani. Today, a very special episode as former Broncos quarterback Jake Plummer joins the program. And as you can imagine, we get into all things Bo Nix. I feel like anytime Jake comes on the show here, he brings a wealth of knowledge about playing the quarterback position, a perspective that's very unique. And I think that I always learn something when I talk to Jake, and certainly that is the case here today. We talk about Bo and where he is in his development, the steps that he's taken, particularly these last 2 weeks here against the Bengals, and then in that fourth quarter against the Eagles, what he liked, what he's seen from Bo as he grows here in year two, and then what are the next steps here? Where are some areas that he can continue to grow and continue to develop here? So a lot of great perspective here coming from Jake Plummer, and also not just about Bo, but also about the team coming together here, where this Broncos team stands. They're 3-2, and now they've got an opportunity, the way the schedule is coming together, to really go on a run here, it feels like, especially coming off of what everybody's calling a signature win against the Eagles. What can happen here? The team is spending the whole week in London. They're together, there's sort of like that bonding time, that they have this chance to really maybe do something special here. I talked to Jake about that, who, of course, was on that AFC Championship team, the run that they made in the early 2000s. He talked about what it felt like in that locker room. And, we just, talk about what could be happening here with the Broncos. Of course, they're just 3-2. It's a week-by-week league. Anything can happen, but it did feel like maybe that was a big moment, that win and the way it happened and unfolded there in Philadelphia. And now what could be ahead here for this Broncos team. So I hope that you enjoy this conversation with Jake Plummer, who just has so much positivity and energy. And I just love talking to him. So I hope that you enjoy this conversation. If you do, please like and subscribe as we continue to grow the Broncos and Bourbon brand. But with that, here is my conversation with former Broncos quarterback Jake Plummer. Jake, thank you so much for taking some time to hop on the show here. How you been, man?
Life is good. It's fall, one of my favorite times of year, and I oftentimes find myself going, why? Well, it's because I was playing a lot of ball in the fall, and fall was always a great time when the weather changes, the trees change here. It's so beautiful, and just living each day, man, to its fullest.
Yeah, now you get to actually enjoy the fall, right? You can get out there and hang out and just be a fan too.
Yeah, I think even before the fall, I get to enjoy the summer, July, August,
Yeah.
Get to relax and just do some fun stuff with the family and enjoy the beautiful nature surrounding us here in Colorado and up in Idaho and wherever else I find myself.
Yeah. I know you got the ASU sweatshirt on. I know you make it down there every so often. Nice to see the Sun Devils doing so well.
Oh, of course. There were some little moments in between since I was done there, 25 plus years ago. And they've had some great teams, some great quarterbacks, and been through the coaching carousel a little bit. But I think they found a good one in Coach Dillingham, who is a Tempe True Blue, was walking around watching us play back when I was a Sun Devil. So to have him in the building, along with some other guys that played on that team with me, a couple coaching with them and a couple in the administration, it's really nice to see them doing well and, bring in the right type of players. That's the thing with this portal open, guys can bounce wherever, but Dilly's really selective on who he brings in and making sure they want to be part of what they're growing and building there. And so far, so good for them this year. They got a tough one against Utah coming up, but every game is tough in the Big 12 now, just like it is in the league.
Yep, yeah, and top 25 teams. So yeah, good to see them rolling there. I had Nate Jackson on a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about what you guys are doing with Guerrilla Sports. So cool to see you out on the field. Like kind of giving us a different perspective. And you got that 16 jersey on. It looked right, Jake. It just looked how it's supposed to be.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been fun to put on our old gear, and as players, we would play the game, then you would go watch the film, get analyzed, get it broken down, always, even after the game, get asked not so much about the great plays you made, but about the ones you didn't. And so what we're trying to do is just shed light on why some of this stuff doesn't happen, and that, there are two professional teams going at each other, both teams full of some of the best athletes in the world. So sometimes it doesn't work. And then the walkthrough is what we would do as players. We'd go right out on the field afterwards, work through those mistakes, whether they were mental, physical, whatever it was, so that you create that muscle memory and wash it away. And then once that's done, it's over. It's on to that next opponent that next week. So, yeah, Nate and I have been good buddies ever since we played and donned the orange and blue. And now we get to work together. And it's just a fun little exploration into the game, which I love football. I love watching football. Of course, it's a lot easier to watch when you mentioned ASU, when they got a signal caller like Sam Levitt behind there, who's exciting as all get out, man. He's one of the most exciting players in college football. And then also here in Bronco country, with Bo Nix, what we're seeing from him is definitely encouraging and fun to watch as he evolves into the quarterback he's becoming. So, yeah, it's been fun working with Nate, and Gorillas has been gracious enough to get this old guy on film doing some fun stuff.
Yeah, get it loose, Jake.
Yes.
Okay, you mentioned Bo Nix. I got a lot of stuff I want to ask you about him here, but that fourth quarter was really impressive, Jake. Down a couple of scores on the road, defending Super Bowl champs. What signs are you seeing from him that things are starting to click? Things are starting to come together for him.
Yeah, there's multiple things that I'm witnessing as I watch. I'm listening to hear the players talk about Bo and the coaches, how they talk about him, and just that organization, how they've brought him in, embodied his spirit and his competitiveness, and how he works really hard and done everything possible to give him the right tools to succeed here while he wears number 10 for the Broncos. And you see it from the play calling. I do. Early on, it's 3rd and 6. What do? They throw it deep. They're giving this kid a chance to make the plays. They're not conservatively like half the league throwing a screenplay behind the line of scrimmage. It's 3rd and 6. They're throwing it 4 yards deep. Now the guy has to get 10 yards. They're giving Bo a chance to really throw the ball, and he's being pushed to evolve and to become better in the pocket, better with his feet, because we know what he can do outside of that. And so I really just witnessed more the coaches understanding him and giving him that freedom, but him also then taking that and making the plays. Even though we missed some early in the year, he missed a few big shots early in the year, it didn't mean we stopped doing that. Keep throwing those deep balls, keep giving him those opportunities, and let those guys step up. And you're seeing really, as the quarterback, he's the heart and soul and the heartbeat of this team. And we're watching this team kind of become a very, a representation of the kind of competitor and athlete and person that he is. So it's been a lot of fun, and there's still growing pains down the road to see. But that fourth quarter, when it matters the most, 3 quarters were not bad. They just didn't produce points. He made some great throws, put the ball in some really tight spots. But late in that fourth quarter, when it mattered the most, he really did make some big time throws. And that's when your team buys in. That's when your defense and the special teams, the coaches, the janitors, the equipment guys, the organization, the fans, they stop complaining and critiquing and more or less start going, wow, what's he going to do now? He's showing us with the ball in his hand. And that really is the only time you get when you're a quarterback to prove that you can do it. He's stepping up and doing it.
Yeah, what do you think it said about Sean Payton to go for 2 after, tying, could have tied the game, but instead they said, hey, let's go for 2, and they let him throw that out route there to the pylon. I mean, what do you think it said about the confidence he has in Bo right now?
Well, it's confidence in Bo to make that play because I'm sure he's seen him do it hundreds of times in practice. Confidence in a young receiver also in Franklin to give him that opportunity. But it's also a testament to the defense, really, and what those guys were doing on Sunday against Philly, one of the toughest teams you could possibly face with Saquon and Jalen, two amazing running backs and one of them that can throw the ball all over the field. And he did. He put some balls. He made some beautiful throws, but they were very well defended. It says a lot that I think Coach Payton knew that there were 7 minutes plus left in the game. If they don't get it, they're only down by one. They're probably going to get the ball back the way the defense is playing. They know that's a gamble, but not when you trust your defense, not when Joseph's is calling it right and making things happen. It's really it is a good sign to see him put the ball in Bo's hands, let him get that win. And it put the pressure back on Philly for sure to go down and try to score. Obviously, they didn't, and the Broncos, did the rest of the work to finish that game. But yeah, like I mentioned, there's the coaches' calls can show you the confidence they have in their quarterback also, where you're pushing it down the field on 3rd and 14, big throw to Sutton. You're giving him opportunities to roll and throw it back across the field and display to his team and to his players and to all of us the type of skill set he has.
You mentioned that 3rd down and 14 where he steps up into the pocket, just delivers a rifled it in there.
Yeah.
When you see that work like that, what is he doing right there? What do you like when you watch him? What are you watching there? Because so many people say like, oh, well, his footwork's still off or some of his mechanics are off. But when I see that, I'm like, that looked good.
Yeah. I mean, if you watch that from the end zone copy, you watch his head and his eyes. And, he'd had some balls batted down early in the year. And that's when you're going too soon. Your eyes are going to your target before you're throwing, and a D lineman is going to read that. Well, what you witnessed on that play is, again, you don't want to be in that down a distance. But when you're there, are you just going to run a draw or throw a bubble screen? Or are you going to give this kid a chance to evolve? And when the time comes that he needs to do that later in the season, now we know he can. He used his eyes really well. He held the safety. He came back to the route. He didn't stare at the route, but he knew where Cortland was going to be. He threw it to the spot even before Cortland made the break. And that's just confidence in not only him, but also in the receivers, in the O-line, in the whole process, the whole offense being really good at what they do and trusting in his abilities. And so huge play, great play there. But even he made some throws early in the game in the first quarter, the end of the first quarter, beginning of the second, dropping a few dimes that were not really wow plays, but they were accurate. They were put in places where guys could get 5 yards instead of maybe get 1. And those are all the little things I look for is like, where's he placing the ball? How's he getting it to the guys so they can do what they do best? And then once the guys get it, what are they doing? Are they trying too hard or are they turning north and getting some yardage,
So are you seeing those things kind of start to come a little bit more easy for Bo? Like he's making these plays look a little bit more natural, or like when you watch his evolution, how much further along does it feel like he is at this point than even week 1 this year or going back to his rookie year?
Yeah, he's really done the work in just the few games we've seen him so far. He was antsy in the pocket. He was stepping up. He was putting himself into harm's way with poor execution with his feet. But those things, he knows it right when it happens. As a quarterback, you've been through this so many times. You've been coached and overcoached and repetitively coached and watched all the film and analyzed it all offseason. When you're like, damn, I shouldn't have hitched up there. I should have stayed in the pocket. Maybe I could have delivered that throw on the flea flicker play a couple weeks ago. Like putting yourself into peril when you don't need to. And that just comes with maturity. And again, with him being able to put that trust in those guys in front of him. And having a great run game, it obviously helps when you're a quarterback. You have to have a threat of run. Gives you a lot of chance to make that fake and then get your eyes downfield. And guys get open that way because you're now getting better matchups. The underneath coverage isn't down the field as far. But yeah, he's putting in the work. And all the things I hear from what's going on at the facility there is that's what he does. Whether he has a good game, a bad game, the best game of his life or the worst game, he still is going to come back consistently, work just like he did the week before. And that's a sign of a kid that wants to get better, wants to lead this team, wants to show everybody by example, where the bar is, and let's keep this thing high so we all work hard at the ultimate goal, which is to win 1 week at a time, 1 game at a time. Right now, it's just 1 practice at a time. Break it down, it's 1 period at a time. Break it down even further to 1 single play in practice at a time, because there's nothing else you can do but that. And I think I see that from Bo. He doesn't let the bad plays hang with him. He's over it. He's ready to go.
Yeah, he's competitive, Mom.
Yeah, man. He knows, it's going to be hard. He doesn't, you say make plays look easy, even though they look easy. It's just they're well drawn up, they're practiced, and they're executed well. Everyone's doing their part to make sure that it goes well. As Rod Smith used to say, he'd get on the offense sometimes when I was playing and chew their asses like, yo, come on, we got to pick it up. Making it hard on Snake. If we don't do this, let's go. Let's make it easy on him, because they know it's a hard job playing quarterback. You have so much going on. Not only do you have all that going on, you got all eyeballs on you watching what you're doing with your body language, how you're coming off the field after a touchdown, how you're celebrating that touchdown, how you're even like coming off the field and interacting with your players. Like you're getting watched so much. It's difficult, and it can be hard. But when you're consistent and you're a leader and you know what you're doing is what you love, you'll see yourself get better.
Yeah, we're seeing that. I loved what you said about his eyes there. You're the first person who's mentioned, hey, his eyes are helping him out now too, trusting the receiver. You mentioned some of those deep passes that he missed there. Are those sometimes a little bit trickier for the quarterback than, like, hey, you're about to let that thing rip, but then you realize, okay, he's wide open here. I mean, I can't tell you how many times you must have seen Rod running wide open down there, and before you let it go, maybe you think twice, or what's the hardest part about some of those deep passes?
It's just, I think the most important thing to do, and what sometimes you forget, is to just go before you throw that deep ball, because you're like, oh, there it is, and you go to throw it, and that little extra bit of anxiousness and excited, the feeling in your bones, you maybe put 3 more inches on it than you should, and it's just outside of his fingertips, as we saw. But those things can be fixed, with just more reps, trusting that the guys will get there. The worst thing today in the NFL is to overthrow a guy at this day and age, with the amount of grabbing, the amount of hand fighting going on. You'd love to lead him perfectly, like the NFL films shots that they're going to show where, perfectly thrown and he catches it over his shoulder and keeps going. But best to give him that shot and even maybe underthrow it a little, which is hard. It's not something we do as kids in the backyard. Like, hey man, run a go route and I'm going to underthrow you. No, I'm going to try to throw it perfect so you catch it and look pretty. And so they're just reps. And if you start letting it get in your head when you miss those shots, it can be really tough to get over it. And we see Bo letting it go now. Forget about it. I can't do anything about that throw 3 weeks ago. What I can do now is make this throw. And he's making them. He's giving these guys a shot. And there's still a couple of them dropping them. And, that's okay. Cortland had that drop, but he came back and made some huge catches, huge plays, like we're hoping to see continuing throughout the season for number 14, along with, Mims stepping up and all these young guys stepping up and finding out what their role is. And also the coaches finding out what they can do well and putting them in those positions.
Yeah. The coaching with Sean as a young quarterback, how important is it that there's like consistency there? It's the same guy. And it is a guy like Sean, who's like, this offensive minded, a lot of people call him like this offensive genius. How important is it for a young guy to have that just consistent voice there guiding him through this process? Whereas we've seen some younger guys, their offensive play caller changes or things change, or you got to learn a new offense just in your second year. How much of an advantage, I guess, is it for Bo to just have a guy like Sean in his ear?
It's great. I mean, Sean has a proven track record, winning a lot of games, winning a Super Bowl, coaching a Hall of Fame, soon to be Hall of Fame quarterback in Drew Brees, utilizing his skill set to the best of his ability, but also, molding it and bending it and tweaking it so that it matches your personnel surrounding you. I don't know I'm not in those meetings, so I don't know the one-on-one time or the amount of coaching he gets from the head coach. Is kind of tough. I know Shanahan was an offensive-minded coach and would call plays once in a while. And so he would he would come into the room occasionally, but we didn't really see him a lot. He'd just be there analyzing as we went through practice. And then obviously if there was something he saw, he's going to tell us and he's going to help us. And you listen when someone like that, who is one of the greatest in the game, tells you something. What was huge is having Kubiak for me. And I think Kubiak can be, obviously Davis Webb is not Gary Kubiak yet, but I think we're discounting too Davis Webb and the fact that that he has a guy who was a quarterback that's played the game, that understands the game, and can listen to Bo and maybe give him those chances to be vulnerable and ask a tough question that you should know that. No, sometimes stuff slips my mind. I need a refresher. So I think we're finding out that this coaching staff is a great coaching staff. I mean, Vance Joseph's a head coach, former head coach, coaching a defense. They're playing at a high level. And let's not forget, as a quarterback, when you got a defense playing that well, it's easier to pull the trigger. It's easier to get the ball down the field and trust yourself, knowing that you're not doing it going, oh, maybe I'll make it a bad throw and it's a pick. That's okay. You just know that you're free to go play because your defense is going to back you up, get the ball back, stop the other team's offense, and give you an opportunity to go out again.
Do you feel like, when things are starting to roll like this, offense, defense, complementary football, you have a win like that against the Eagles, what can that do for a team to just like kind of feel like it's all sort of coming together at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge victory. Anytime you go to Philly, Philly's got a real special place in my heart, not only just because the fans there and the movie Rocky and Philly cheesesteak sandwiches and all that, but I got my first live action in the NFL in Old Veteran Stadium, my rookie year in the league. We got the ball on the 2-yard line. Coach put me in. I walked into the huddle and I said, hey, let's take this, 98 yards. And everybody kind of perked up, and Larry Sanders was looking at me with his eye like this. And I was like, are you okay? And he's like, eye of the tiger, baby. Eye of the tiger. And so, I have a special spot in my heart for Philly. We pulled off some huge upsets, come from behind victories, walk-off victories back in my days playing with the Cardinals. And so when you go into the stadium, everyone's against you. You're playing a 4-0 reigning Super Bowl championship team. It's huge. That was a huge victory. However you got it. It didn't matter if they played 4.5 terrible quarters and somehow ended up pulling out a victory. They got a win on the road. And I think we saw the team kind of band together where I've mentioned this a couple times. I think they'd have been booed here at Mile High. I think they would have been booed for their lack of productivity. And that wears on you. That's a negative feeling that you have to overcome while you're at home, where when you're on the road, you're expecting to get booed. You're expecting to get told things that you forgot about what you did in college. Some fan's going to bring it up and remind you, or like anything, man. It's nasty. And so you band together as a team, that whole unit, everybody that's in the orange and blue comes together. And so we saw them do that. Now the tough thing is to let that one go and move on to the next one, which is an 0-5 team. And you're now in London and everything's shaken up and different. But maybe a blessing, as I heard some people talking about, maybe a blessing that they didn't get to come back home and get all the attaboys and, oh man, this was the signature win of the year. And it's like, whoa. Yeah. We don't say signature win until all 17 are in the basket and hopefully there's more to come. Like, there's no signature wins right now. They're just wins. We look back on them later and analyze which ones were the ones. The team knows. The team knows what's going on and how that locker room felt and how that flight to London felt. Wash it away, kids, because it's time to get ready to play another NFL team, whether they're 0-5, 5-0, it don't matter. You're going to get their best shot because they're also adults playing this game, getting paid, and they don't want to be 0-6. So you're going to get the Jets' best shot possible, especially everybody watching as the game going on in London. So, yeah, don't rest too much on this win. Obviously, it's a great victory. We saw some really good things. We saw some big things come out of Bo's progression. But I was really encouraged by the receivers and them catching the ball, getting open, and the run game. Let's not discount Dobbins and what he's doing back there in that O-line. And even Mims on special teams. No one's really talking about his punt returns. I don't know how many yards he got, but there was a couple there. He got 21 on one and 11 on another. Man, those are 3 first downs that I don't have to get. So Mims kid is a weapon, and I think we're just going to see him get better and better as the season goes.
Do you remember when things were rolling there in the early 2000s with the Broncos? Like, hey, this team's starting to come together. Like, I'm feeling it. You can feel it in the locker room.
Oh, 100%. It's a confidence, and it's also you put in all the work in the off season, and you put in the work early in the week during the season to get ready for that game on Sunday. And I think we had some really, really good leaders. We had some phenomenal football players on those teams. Tommy Nalen, Matt Lepsis, John Lynch, Al Wilson. We had some guys. We had some dudes that you just never had to worry about coming to be ready to play. And when you got guys like that believe in each other, and they believed in me, that I was their guy. They loved how I approached the game. They loved how I played. Even if I made a mistake or threw a pick, they still were like, I got you. And that's what I see this team. They got Bo. They got his back. And I think that's a sign of a well-coached team and a team that's spending good time together when we don't get to see, those times in the locker room and the weight room and after practice. I think this is a very close-knit team. And when you're close and you love each other and you care about each other, then you start believing that, man, every game is winnable. And you have to believe that, but really every game is ours for the win. If we don't do something stupid or if we don't lose it, we could win every game.
Yeah, yeah. It does feel like that's happening with this Broncos team a little bit here, that confidence coming together. What for a young quarterback like Bo, feeling that confidence, what do you think is the next step for him, like in his development here? Just keep doing what you're doing, or is there something that you want to see from him still as he continues to grow and develop?
I think just keep doing whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
We break it down on in the cold tub and the walkthrough. We break it down a lot on what they're doing, when something doesn't go right, just to explain to the fans that there's a lot of working parts here, and everything that we've mentioned and talked about, we've seen get cleaned up. And we know these things because we've been in those rooms, we've been in those meetings, we've been on those practice fields. We've stepped onto that field and with the lights on and made those mistakes or made those big plays. And I think for Bo, it's just keeping a level head. And as I'm hearing, like I said, keep doing what you're doing. Don't change anything. Just keep working hard and addressing the things that you can get better at. And when the ball is snapped and those plays are called, that's when the magic can happen. That's when the fun begins, because you got to go make the play. And as long as he keeps continuing to put the ball in places where guys could go make the play, I see him continuing to evolve. Obviously, we want him to not have any troubles or have bad games, but he's going to have some interceptions. He's going to have some tough moments. He's going to have to dig himself out of some holes. But I think we're seeing his spirit and his toughness and his resolve that it doesn't matter. He's still going to go out there and he's going to, when the ball's snapped, it's going to happen like it did 3 weeks ago, and it's going to happen 4 weeks from now. Like, he's given us everything he's got, and that's what I like to see, and hopefully he'll continue that.
It's like a consistency, maybe there's these flashes of brilliance, but like, okay, how can we do this every single game? I guess, is that a sign of a quarterback developing, is when it's becoming more and more consistent?
Yeah, and it's a sign of a whole team developing. Remember Bo's in his second year. He had a phenomenal first year. We got a couple new guys in there that have had a chance to get into the mix. RJ Harvey, a guy who I think we're going to see make some huge plays, but also just another year with Cortland and with Franklin and Mims and these guys and these relationships. Ingram, showed up a little bit, showed us his catch radius and made a big play. That was huge to see, as a guy who's probably frustrated a little bit, but we don't see that. As we saw, the whole air changed on Philly's team when A.J. Brown was complaining about not getting the ball. It's like, we're 4-0. What are you complaining about?
Yeah,
and that's where, if you're a team leader, you go to the guys that are around him, and if they can't handle it, you go to the coaches. If they can't handle it, then you have a one-on-one with this cat, and you say, yo, you got to go, or you got to buy in. This isn't right. This is BS. And so, this team is not like that. The Broncos team, all of them are very unselfish. If anything, they sometimes play too hard. They come in too hard and want to do too much and get themselves in a little bit of trouble. I will say I'm going to be watching closely the hands of the DBs, as time goes. We're seeing a lot of holding, and we're seeing some not get called. And I hope that I've said it, like they put boxing gloves on these guys in practice, so you can't use your digits to grab because it tendencies to grab, but a good DB will just touch and hold and not hold them, but put his hand on the receiver to know where they're at in space. So I just hope they clean that up because those ones kill you when it's 3rd and 15 and you make a stop and then, oh, nope, there's that flag. And if they don't clean that up, I'm afraid that could come back to get them later on in the year. I hope it doesn't, but most likely it will as this game is built around passing and giving those offensive guys the leniency to be a little more aggressive than the defense. Let's clean those hands up because even at the end of the game, Skinner.
Oh my gosh.
Skinner got away with one, but if he wasn't grabbing him, guess what he had? Probably his first NFL interception. If he just was looking and his hand wasn't grabbing, he could have made an interception, game over. And so let's stop grabbing. Let's start playing that position. It's a hard position to play. You're on an island by yourself, and I'm not saying these guys aren't doing a good job because they are. We saw Jalen struggle this week, not getting the ball downfield right away, but then also once he became a runner, that's where, that's where this defensive plan was beautiful as they executed well on getting him down because he's dynamic when he gets out of the pocket.
Strong. Oh, man.
We didn't see that. We didn't see it the whole game. So kudos to the defense. This is a defensive win and definitely, one that the offense stepped up when they needed to and showed that, there's no single offense, defense, or special team on a team. It's all 3 units packed together.
And so last one for you, I guess, on the team here is what do you think is possible for this squad as you see what you've seen here? I know it's only week 6, but you talk about how talented this defense is, talk about Bo developing and building chemistry here, the running game, offensive line. What's possible for this team, Jake?
I'm going to put my hat on straight for this one and shoot you straight. This is what's possible. They can beat the Jets this week.
I love it. Spoken like a former player. I like it.
There's no I don't care what they do until after that. And I want to see them go take care of business. They go down and handle the Jets right. Then we can start, maybe saying, wow, this team really is what we were hoping for. I'm hoping that too many people around town don't find some negative that they can bring up because there's so many positives right now happening on this team and in this organization. And even from the ownership, working with the alumni. I mean, a lot of really good mojo is circling around this organization, bringing guys back. There's close to 170 alumni coming back for alumni weekend. And that speaks volumes for this organization and the new ownership, what they've done to embrace not only its players and the people in the building, but also the past players. So all's good in London. Go get the win against the Jets. That's all that matters right now. That's it.
Okay. I like it. Taking it slow 1 week and build it. Okay, I like it. I did want to ask you about the quarterback position in general because it does feel like we're seeing a lot of young quarterbacks have a lot of success early here in their career. What do you think that's about? It's not just Bo, but Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams starting to come around in Chicago. You even saw Cam Ward get his first win this week with the Titans. Why do you think younger guys are having success earlier?
Well, I mean, they come in and they're getting a lot of attention put on them. They're making a lot of money, and I think that they're not into the year. For me, say coming out of high school, I played all 3 sports. I didn't have a quarterback guru teaching me this, that, or other. I wasn't watching film. I wasn't breaking down my film. I was playing ball. Even in college was the first I got exposed to some real education about single high, double high safeties. Reading a defense, going through a progression. These kids are doing that from 8th grade, 7th grade, sometimes even younger, all the way till now. So I think that's helped them in this process. And also coaches being able to not try to fit a square peg into a round hole, meaning, take a quarterback that's grown up in this system where there's freedom and there's space and I'm RPOs and I'm throwing it or I'm running it. I'm making dynamic plays. I'm being taught to be dynamic, then put into a system that's pocket passing and progressions and personnel switches and concepts and all this deep thinking that goes into reading safety rotation and flipping sides. I think that the coaches are now realizing, hey, these guys are dynamic athletes. Let's make it easy on them so that we can get them into the flow and then add things as we go, find out what they do well, and then push them to get better at the things they don't do well. but also the things they do well. Let's make our offense about that and find the pieces to bring in to make that successful. So I think we're seeing that a little bit, and it's great. It's great for the game. I think everything always does a circle. It cycles and evolves and comes back. So maybe we'll see that archaic dinosaur pocket passing, non-mobile Peyton Manning come around, but I don't think so in this day and age with the way defenses fly around and the ability you have to not only extend plays, but go make a play with the ball in your hands. And we got a special one here. We got a kid that can do it. He's fast, he's strong, he's fearless when he's out of the pocket and running, but he's also getting that back foot planted and using his abilities with his arm and showing us that he can do it also from the pocket. So sky's the limit right now. Around the league, a lot of great quarterbacks, though, are making plays, not only throwing it, but using their legs. So it's kind of the new era of athletic quarterbacks that still can stand in the pocket and throw, as we see with Lamar Jackson, like what a scary weapon he is. So, it's a fun time, especially to be a fan like myself who played similarly to this when I was playing. It's great to see this being like sought after and looked for and then built up and allowed to happen to some degree on Sundays. And what does it equate to? It equates to some pretty fun games to watch.
Oh man, yeah. You must sometimes though think like, hey, what would I have been like in this era, right? Like you must think that at some time, right?
I have my opportunities. We ran some no huddle in Arizona. We put up quite a bit of yards in a half a season there, making the playoffs in '98. Getting that stadium there, that vote to pass, and then here in Denver, getting the chance to play for Shanahan, who, while he pushed me hard to evolve into a more prolific pocket passer, I still had that ability to get out and make plays with my legs, and that's where the fun was. That's when it was a lot of fun getting out and those unscripted 30 to 40% of the plays that now become either game breakers for either side. Got to take care of the ball too. And that's one more point that Bo's really good at is making good decisions when he's outside. Once in a while he gets away with one, but he's got to push sometimes in order to know that you can make that play or maybe you can't make that play.
You mentioned Peyton Manning there. You guys had some huge matchups against the Colts back in the day there. Do you have any good Peyton Manning stories? I mean, did you ever, you guys are at the Pro Bowl together, right? At one point, like, did you ever?
Yeah. I mean, my favorite times with him were back, one was, I believe we were at the quarterback challenge together and just getting to shoot the breeze with him, talking football. But even before that, back in Arizona, when I was a senior at ASU, and they had I think it was the Playboy All-American team, and they brought him out to Arizona to the Phoenix area. Juan Roque was on that team, so I got to go. Juan said, "Come out with us, man. Come on, come over here and hang out." And so I got to go, and that's when I first met Peyton. And every time I get to see him, it feels good. He's just really a stand-up guy. What he's doing, I mean, he's everywhere on every commercial, so you got to deal with that. But what he's done, what he did in his career was phenomenal. I memean, a guy that didn't have every gift that some of these guys have, but knew how to maximize that, work hard, understand the game. We're seeing, the Manning lineage continue on, and so great to see Peyton whenever I can. A true and blue, down to the roots. What you see is what you get guy, and I'm always honored whenever I get a chance to see him.
Yeah. Okay, good stuff there. I had 5 quick, rapid fire kind of ones here for you before we say goodbye. Cool. Okay. What was your favorite away stadium to play in?
Ooh, man. Well, we just mentioned Philly, and that's when it was the old Veterans Stadium. That one was super fun. But I have to say the Black Hole. I think it's sorely missed from the league. I think it's a shame that it's not there. That was a very treacherous place to go. Thank God we were out on the field because, getting flipped off by an older person that looked like someone's grandma just for waving at them, and actually not just flipped off, but like some very kindly chosen expletives sent my way, even to the point of stuff hitting the bus when we're driving out of there. That was just, you were going into enemy territory, and it was just you and your guys. You knew that, even your parents and your family, like, yo, don't wear my uniform. Don't wear any colors in this game. Just wear gray or blue or something. Just go chill. Don't go too crazy because
Be
That was
safe.
that was always fun going there. But I got to say, the Philly fans usually one of the greatest places to play, just because those fans, man, they love the game.
They booed Santa Claus. I mean, come on. Yeah. What was your favorite part about being a professional football player?
Oh man, I think it was just my team. I loved my
Mhm.
team. I always knew that being the quarterback, focus was always going to be on me. All eyes were on me. But I had my guys, and I knew how to treat them so that they knew that I really respected them, even though all the focus could be on me. I know that they're getting after it also, and the praise needs to go to them. And even when they're playing bad, they don't really. I would always try to be there for them, to know like that I got their back too. So I really think the fun part of playing was actually the week to week, knowing that you had a challenge in front of you and you had to band together, and we weren't going to be perfect. There's no way in hell you could be perfect, because you're going against professionals on the other side of the ball. But just to believe in each other and to keep counting on each other and staying with each other as a team, those were my favorite moments and favorite times coming out of it, was just that time on the field.
Talking to your former teammates, that's what they always say about you, man. So like they always give it back to you for sure. Was there a moment when you were growing up that you knew, okay, I got a shot at this thing. I'm going to go for it.
Maybe it dawned on me after my right before my junior year, and someone said, "Are you going to come out early?" And I was like, "What? Come out? What are you talking about? Like, I'm not going to the league. I came here to win a national title. That's why Bruce Snyder recruited me. He felt like I was the piece of the puzzle that could help him complete that, and I wanted to see if that could come true. And so there was no way I was coming out. But it dawned on me at that moment, like, if someone's asking me if I'm coming out early, then there's obviously people talking about me having the ability to play at the next level. And so that's when it first dawned on me that there may be a chance. But it didn't bother me. I'd let it go, because there's nothing you can do about that top level when you're playing college ball. The only thing you can do is play as hard as you possibly can, with all the heart and passion and energy and love that you can, wearing the colors that you're in, and not even think about the league. I didn't think about the league when I was a Sun Devil, and that run we had in '96. I didn't even care. I was having so much fun playing college ball. Who cares about making money and playing NFL? It never was about that. It was about playing the game.
Wow. Okay. All right. So not even like in high school or anything, like being recruited, you weren't thinking like, hey, I got a shot at this thing. I'm big enough. I'm athletic enough. I'm good enough.
I mean, it was my dream,
Yeah. Yeah.
along the way I had steps I had to achieve. One was to be a starter in high school, and then two, to get a chance at college. And then once I got
Hmm.
that chance to become a starter there, and then once I had the chance to be a starter, like, actually learn and evolve and get better and lead my team and see what could happen. And it all worked out, that I did get that
Yeah.
opportunity. But yeah, even, the only time it really dawned on me, like I said, was after my junior year, when someone asked me if I was coming out early, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, I guess I do
Wow.
have a shot here." But no, I'm gonna finish up here at ASU and see what we can do. And I'm glad I did, obviously, because we
Yeah.
had quite a special year that year.
Yeah. What a run there. Yeah. Of
Almost
course.
win that national title, but Bruce Snyder was very prophetic. He could see the future, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's awesome. I know you're a huge Sun Devils fan, but do you have a favorite team away from football that you're like, this is just my favorite team. I root for this team. You got connection. You got, just away from football. What's your favorite team?
You mean, is it football team, or just like outside of my allegiances with any organizations?
I'm just saying, like outside of football, like what's
Okay.
your favorite team? Like are you a Nuggets fan? Are you,
I love the
some other team
Nuggets.
out
Yes.
there?
I love watching the Nuggets play. I don't watch a ton of sports. I have a
Hmm.
lot going on with three kids and a couple businesses and things I do what I'm up to, but I do watch the teams that I like to. And when the Nuggets come around playoff time, I do like watching them. The Joker is unbelievable. One of the most amazing players I've watched play the game. That whole team just is really, I've watched them step up, and that's really what the fun thing is as a fan, is to when you watch your team and guys step up when that open three comes and they drain it. But there's a lot of fun players on that team to watch. Other
Yeah.
than that, I don't get a chance to watch a whole lot of sports. I mean, I do watch a little NBA, but mostly it's ASU Sun Devils, and then I watch our Broncos and tune in to the Cardinals once in a while. And then other than
Yep.
that, I watch my favorites around the league. You know, if I could watch Lamar or Josh play or Jalen, I like watching some of these athletes get out and do it.
Yeah. Yeah. How are the business doing? Umbo's is thriving, I'm sure.
Umbo's doing well. Yes,
Good. Good.
we're always evolving. Also, learning how to speak it right,
Yep.
to educate people on the use of mushrooms for personal health and wellness, not
Mhm.
for journeying and hallucinating and psychedelics and all that, but actually
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
mushrooms that are legal, they're non-psychedelic, that have a real benefit to us as a food group that we're missing. So yeah, we're doing well at Umbo, and I get out to the farm still and help,
Cool.
you know, inoculate and harvest mushrooms out there. So it's a lot of fun. It's definitely different than most former NFL quarterbacks, but I really never was, you know, like most of those guys. I've always been a little different. So it's been fun to do that. Obviously, it's always an evolution and learning process, even in life.
I love that you're not just investing; you're a part of it. So that's really cool.
Yes,
I
sir.
like that. Okay, very last one for you here, Jake, and then we'll say goodbye. It doesn't sound like you have a lot of free time, but when you do, how do you like to relax at the end of a long day?
Oh man, you know, I really enjoy spending time with my kids.
Mhm.
They're busy also. We homeschool them, so they're out and about doing all kinds of stuff. When there's a chance to just eat dinner at the table, and even, you know, pull up the TV trays and put on a fun show. We try to watch good cooking shows or,
Okay.
you know, some good stuff online. There's a lot of good things going on in the world, so we try to keep it positive. Watch some stuff like that. Otherwise, you know, personally, I like to do some breath work. I do a lot of
Mhm.
breathing and you know, I mean, we always breathe. Everybody's breathing, but to be
Uh,
conscious of your breath and
yeah.
how it's coming in and out of your body and how it can regulate your emotions and help you deal with a busy day and help you unwind and even sleep better. That and riding my bike, man. Whenever I get on my bike, I like to get on my bike. Um, you know, and the real good unwind, the body treatment I love is doing some yoga, some hot yoga. It's one of my favorites. But yeah, I am pretty busy, but I always take time to pursue joy and do the things that I like, at least for 10 minutes, hopefully an
Totally.
hour, maybe a couple hours a day, depending on how busy my schedule gets. But going and working at the farm and working with the organisms, the fungi, it's so that's rewarding and something I love to do also.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I could talk with you all day, Jake. I feel like I always learn something about the game of football, about the quarterback position, and then I love your attitude and perspective on life and everything. So I feel like I could just chat with you all day here. So I really
Me too,
appreciate your
Phil.
time, and I kept you way too long here. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
No, man, it's all good. No such thing as way too long. It was exactly how it should be. I appreciate you reaching out, and yeah, just I'm excited to watch this team keep playing. You know, it's last week ASU had a bye week, and it was like, dang, I don't get to watch
Yeah,
Cam
what am
go
I
out
supposed to
there. I don't get to
do?
watch
Yeah,
Jordan Tyson. I don't get to watch these guys go out and do it. You know, so loving the opportunity to just sit and watch the game again and have something that's worth watching as they put together quite an entertaining team right now. So fans out there, enjoy it because
yeah. It feels like something
remember the
special
years.
could be coming together.
Yep,
Yeah.
remember the years leading up to this. Let's
Oh man.
take a back seat right now. Sit back and enjoy this ride.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. Well, thanks, Jake. I appreciate catching up with you, man.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil. Peace, love, and mushrooms.
My thanks to Jake Plummer for spending some time here on Broncos and Bourbon. If you enjoyed that conversation, please make sure you like and subscribe here as we continue to grow the podcast and the show here on YouTube and wherever you're checking us out. So thank you so much to Jake for spending some time. I feel like I always learn something when I talk to Jake there. I haven't heard anybody really bring up Bo's eyes and how that could really affect what's happening in the pocket and how it's just all connected when you play the quarterback position with your feet and everything. And I did think that third down and 14 pass to Cortland Sutton was huge. It was a huge moment, but also huge for Bo to just be able to to, he showed me something there on that play. He hung tough in the pocket, stepped up and just delivered a strike on such a huge play. Obviously has the chemistry and the confidence there with Cortland Sutton. So that was just a huge play. And, I just feel like I always learn something with Jake, and I always just sort of feel good after a conversation with him because he has so much positivity. Now, I noticed that every time I was starting to get too focused on Bo, he likes to really make me remember that, hey, this is a whole team sport here, and he loves to just talk about the whole team coming together. And he's just so big on the leadership responsibilities that come with playing quarterback. And I think that is one of Bo's real strong suits there, is that, he does seem to be able to galvanize the team, have everybody come together, bring that competitive, fiery attitude. And like Jake mentioned, this team sort of starts to take on Bo's personality. I think that's when you're playing quarterback at a high level. And it does feel like, for me, now the next step for Bo is, okay, that was an amazing fourth quarter. Can we get that the first three quarters? Can we have this where the consistency is something I brought up there, but okay, can we have it right from the jump, and can we have it every single week? That's the name of the game, right? That's why being a professional is so hard, is that, okay, you just beat the Eagles. Now what? Okay, you got a tough test where maybe your routine got disrupted a little bit. You're in a different country. Now, can you beat a Jets team that you're supposed to beat? A team that's struggling here. Look, the Jets, they've got some talent. Justin Fields has shown that he's more than capable of being a franchise-leading quarterback, but it hasn't quite come together for the Jets all together. The whole thing coming together in terms of it leading to wins. So this is a team that the Broncos should win, but should beat. Garrett Wilson is going to be another tough matchup here for PS2. But the way that this Broncos defense is playing, I think that they've got a chance. Like, that's the thing. The Broncos defense is consistent. Other than that Colts game, it really feels like the pass rush leading the league in sacks. It feels like what you're going to get from this Broncos defense. That's why that Colts game was such a surprise. But aside from that, you feel like you know what to expect there. And if Bo can really get the offensive side humming week in and week out, then this team can really go on a run here. And with the schedule, look, they should be favored in every game leading up to that Chiefs game, and they very well might be favored in that game too. So they got a chance to really get things humming, and if they can do that, and Bo can start to take that step where every week it's just like, yeah, this is what we do now, this Broncos team can have a chance to do something special. And Jake might not want to say it, but it does feel like that could have been a turning point against the Eagles, and now if they just go out and do what they're supposed to do, they can go on a run here. Some of these games might be tougher than we initially expected. Seems like the Cowboys have figured out some stuff. The Texans, the Raiders seem to be going through a little bit of a tough spot here, but these are games coming up here. The Giants have played well the last couple of weeks since going to Jackson Dart, but really the Broncos should be able to, if they just do what they're supposed to do, they should be winning a lot of these games coming up. So you don't want to get ahead of yourself, but, I think that Sean Payton's track record in the month of October, his offenses are a little bit complicated, and it feels like after some growing pains the first month of the season, his teams traditionally start to come together in this month of October. So if the Broncos are able to do that, look out here. And as Jake said, just let's enjoy the ride. But it does feel like maybe the opportunity, at least, let's put it that way, the opportunity for this Broncos team to do something special is in front of them here. So let's see what happens, and let's take it 1 week at a time. That's no fun, though, right? Let's start looking ahead. It does feel like this Broncos team is ascending and can do something special. Those two losses, man, they're just on the last play of the game. You just feel like, hey, if those didn't happen, where could this team be now? We're moved past that. This team is here now and really has everything in front of it. So I think that let's see what happens here in the next couple of weeks. But as we continue to progress, this could be something special here for the Broncos. So let's see what happens. No bourbon review today. Hope you guys enjoyed last week's review. And then I did get some comments. I know Knob Creek Rye 7. That's something I'll definitely be checking out. So we'll have some bourbon reviews coming up here over the next couple of weeks, but not one here today. I do hope that you enjoyed my conversation with Jake Plummer, and hopefully you learned a little something too, as he brings a perspective that I just really enjoy. So if you did, please, once again, like and subscribe to the channel as we continue to grow here. So once again, thanks to Jake for coming on the show. That is going to do it for us for Broncos and Bourbon. I am Phil Milani.